Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sting Remover. We all know on an intellectual level that we should let the past go if it's affecting us, but actually doing that is not something that we can just decide to do. We're even kind of talking about trauma here. So when the trading experts say simple things like, we'll just have a really short memory, and then you tell yourself, oh, yeah, I should do that. Well, I mean, it's not going to help. As a PTSD sufferer, I would always get so angry and feel so guilty when I couldn't take the advice of people who told me to just let it go. But like I said before, trauma engages your fight or flight system, which is all about adrenaline. So if somebody's giving you the brilliant advice that you shouldn't feel scared or worked up about something, it's not going to work. Telling somebody who's full of adrenaline that they should calm down and let their logical brain come back online is going to be just as effective as telling somebody who's full of alcohol that they should just be sober. This discipline download isn't so much about strengthening your muscles as it is helping you to get rid of anything you've been holding on to that's toxic. We're going to be working on a subconscious level, and I intend for you to come out of this workout feeling free and unburdened. All right, let's get to work. Let's start with the warm up. So just move your eyes for a little bit as you follow the ball and make sure your head is still and you're correctly positioned in front of your screen so that you're close enough to ensure that your eyes are pretty much going all the way back and forth. Here we go. Okay, let's start off with you taking an emotional inventory. So just notice any tension or emotional distress and where it is in your body as you watch the ball. All right, deep breath. On a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 means you're totally fine and 10 is you're freaking out, where would you say you are right now? All right, so now it's time for us to jump right in. Think about something you did in your trading career that was really painful, either a big loss or just something that really bothers you. So watch the ball and feel that in your body. Okay, good job. And now let's see if there's a metaphor that really kind of matches your emotions. Like a character in a story who starts off with a particular problem, for example. Let's just see what bubbles up from your subconscious. If you can't do it, it's not the end of the world, but give it a try to see what bubbles up from your subconscious. All right, good job. And now I'd like for you to imagine if you could erase the pain of this hurt so that it no longer affects your trading performance, how would that help you and anybody else that you care about? Okay, so now let's get away from the pain and just help yourself to feel better right now. So, whatever emotional distress that you have, just breathe into it. And you can think about your favorite person or your favorite place or what do you have to do, whatever you have to do just to try to bring that number from 0 to 10 that you had downward. Go ahead. All right, good. Let's do another one. So just go ahead and do that again, but please really try to take the sting out of the wound that it is that we're talking about. Just go ahead and breathe and soothe yourself. Okay, I'm just curious. How are you feeling on a scale of 0 to 10? Have you been able to change your state at all? If so, then good job. And regarding this loss, is there anything like any lesson that you might want to hold on to before we get rid of the sting? If there is, just try to isolate that and you can store it in a box for safekeeping if you'd like. All right, take a deep breath. And now we're ready to start erasing. So if you can capture this loss in one image and then just imagine that the ball is an eraser, just see it erasing back and forth and get rid of that painful image. Okay, can you still see that painful image? If so, feel free to go back and do the erasing one more time. And then when you're ready, let's paint. So imagine the ball is a paintbrush and you're going to paint over that painful image. Use whatever color you want and as much paint as you need. Have fun with it. All right. You're doing great. Now, remember that metaphor I asked you to come up with that sort of encapsulated the feeling of this loss? Now that you're feeling better, go ahead and find a solution to the metaphor, but stay in the metaphor. So, what is the answer there? All right, very good. And now we're going to rewrite the story of this loss that you had. So watch the ball and just come up with a whole new narrative. Either it never happened, or it was actually a win, or it was a critical life lesson that will always benefit you. Whatever you have to do, let's have you imagine something that feels much better than when you started this session. All right, awesome. Imagine yourself as an athlete who made a mistake and blew the last game. It felt terrible, but at this point in your career, you've learned to compartmentalize well enough to have a very short memory. So today is a whole new game, or maybe it's a whole new season, and your one loss record is a pristine 0-0. How does that feel? Do you feel lighter and happier? If so, please take that feeling and spread it throughout your whole body. All right, deep breath. You're doing great. We've allowed you to be able to get rid of a lot of the toxins that were in your body. How does that feel in your mental muscles? As you watch the ball, imagine flexing your trading skill muscles. Imagine having a medication on hand that you can use whenever you need it. I remember being a young guy traveling in South America, and I had Cipro, which is an antibiotic. And so whenever I felt the first sign of anything, I'd just pop that and it would take care of everything, saving me from vomiting and diarrhea and all that stuff. So it was so reassuring just to have that pill. So now just watch the ball and imagine that you have a medication that you can use whenever you need it. Okay. Now, assuming that this works for you, and by the way, you don't really even have to believe that it will, you just have to want it to. How much money is it going to save you? So let's have you understand how important it is for you to use this when you need it. Over the course of your entire career as a trader, how much more money will you have considering that you now have the ability to take the sting out of any type of loss that you suffer? And now for our last set. Imagine yourself trading with a new spirit. No guilt or anger or anything like that. You have a fresh start, so enjoy it.